Hi folks, Tim Newman with Lite Studios, and it's time for installment number 3 of A Shot a Day 2019. Let's take a quick look at this picture here. This was taken at a bar in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I won't even tell you what kind of bar it is because I want to keep my reputation intact, but had a great trip to Amsterdam. And for those of you that have been there, you know that Amsterdam can be a place that's a lot of fun. Not too long ago, I don't know that I would have gotten this shot, but as we talk through this, I'll tell you kind of my mindset as I was sitting there and went ahead and decided to get this picture. First off, let's take a look at our exposure settings. This was shot at an ISO of 6400, which is relatively high, but newer camera, newer sensors, sensor quality keeps getting better and better. Those higher ISOs are working more and more often than they used to in the past. That ISO gave me a shutter speed of 1/40th of a second. Not quite as fast as I would like it to be, but I didn't want to push the ISO any higher. And I'm already wide open on the lens at an aperture of f2.8. So that's about all the light that I can eke out of this scene and still get a good solid exposure, as you can see here. My exposure compensation plus 1/3 of a stop. Meter read this just a little bit off, and looking at the histogram told me that I needed to compensate in the positive direction. Let's take a look at the camera that was used here. This is a Sony a7R3 with a Sony FE24-70 f2.8 GM lens on it. This was shot at 70 millimeters, so it is at the longer focal length out of the zoom range that's available there. No filters were used, and I guess it's really not accurate to say that there was a really right stuff L bracket and tripod used, because there was not a tripod used, but the L bracket kind of always lives on my camera, so that was indeed there. Now, let's take a look at some composition thoughts here. One of the things that I think is important here is the rule of thirds, and you can find that in the image if you look carefully, and you can also look and see that as the subject's sitting there in the frame, he's really at a pretty good intersecting point on both the vertical and upper horizontal thirds line. So I think that feels comfortable to me. I like the way his arms are crossed. It kind of solidifies the look and texture of this guy. I'm glad we didn't cut those off. And I think that we've got that framed up appropriately when we take a look at this picture here. Now, one of the other things that I think is really important about this picture is the quality of light in this picture and our use of minimal depth of field so that the background elements are out of focus and that he really is separated from the background in the frame. One other thought that I want to share with you here is I really hesitated to take this shot. I was actually in the bar with my family. We were on a trip in Europe and we were all there together. And I kind of hem-hawed around it about a little bit. And I said, man, I really love all the tattoos that this guy has on his face. It's just such a really fantastic canvas that he's got put together. But quite frankly, I was a little nervous. You know, you see the guy that's all tatted up like that and you think, this guy's a pretty gruff dude. He could be someone that might not be happy with me bothering him. And my daughter said, oh, just ask him. So I did. I turned around and said, man, I love your tattoos. I'd love to take a picture of it. And he thought it was the coolest, that was the coolest thing there was. He was totally happy about it, and he posed for me a couple different ways. And I'm really happy that I had the nerve to take that picture, because sometimes in street photography, I don't like to bother people, and I don't necessarily want to intrude on their space. Sometimes it's nice to catch them in candid moments, and sometimes you're not sure what their reaction is going to be. In this case, I wasn't sure, but I asked and it worked out well. Hope that you enjoy these shot-a-day videos and some thoughts that they bring you on exposure settings, gear, and composition, and that they help you when you're out there thinking about what you want to shoot. Down there at the bottom underneath the video somewhere is the subscribe button. Please click on that and follow us. We're going to try to bring you stuff here every single day here at Lite Studios. And remember, as we always say, learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.